So I wanted to share with you guys kind of how I'm feeling in my current state of being an entrepreneur, but also how I know many of you are probably feeling as you're trying to just figure out how to juggle all of the things. And then now you're thinking like, okay, so I'm already doing this 10,000 things on my list. And now I want to add in entrepreneurship on top of that, running a whole business. And that is a whole nother thing within itself. And a lot of times it can be very hard to even picture how that can fit into your already chaotic life. And so today we are going to be talking all about how to find the balance within starting a new business and adding it to what you already have going on, and what that can look like for you, and some tips and tricks and ways to start to implement that and get used to this new addition to your crazy life. Hey guys, welcome back to Stationary Muse channel. My name is Tatiana and I am a business and mentor coach for women that are aspiring to become creative entrepreneurs, and I specifically love to talk about starting your own business here on this channel. So like I was saying, I think that for many of us as women, we have so many things that we are to people, that we have to be, that we have to do. I know myself personally, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have 2 businesses that I run regularly. I also work pretty much full time for a company here at home. I'm a stay-at-home mom. You know, I cook, I clean. Luckily, I have a husband that helps me with a lot of that stuff as well, but it's one of those situations where there's just a lot of stuff that piles up on top of everything. And then even more on top of that, you know, I also have like a whole family that I FaceTime with and regularly communicate with. I have different social media platforms that I have to show up on, and there is just so many different things that I have, of course, put on my own plate. A lot of the things we put on our own plate, and it can be very interesting when you're trying to add in something else to the mix. You're already feeling very busy as it is, and you're just trying to think, okay, now I really want to start this business, but realistically, how does this fit into my picture of how my life is already set up? Today I want to talk to you guys about what I do, some of my advice for you, and I think that above all, one thing to just remember before we even get into this is everybody's life looks different. So even though I'm going to give you some suggestions, they may or may not work best for you, but what I've decided is to just kind of put together what I feel can kind of help you navigate through this kind of strange period where you're trying to figure out like, okay, I want to start this business, but do I really have the time to make it happen? And so the first thing I really wanted to say about this, the first step is to give yourself grace. We're very hard on ourselves when it comes to just anything. At least I know for me, when anything that I'm trying to put myself out there and to pursue and to take on, I really want to give it my 100% all the time. And I think that's a great way to be. But at the same time, life happens, and eventually, you know, sometimes we get kind of burnt out. Sometimes we have seasons where certain things are going to just be more of the priority, whereas other seasons it may not be as much of a priority. And sometimes you may have it where your business is taking up what feels like most of your life, and then other times you're just kind of sitting back chilling. And you know, from day to day it's going to be very different. So even once you sit down and you kind of figure out this whole little thing we're going to talk about, just keep in mind that life is constantly changing. And so even if something works for you this week, it may not work for you next week. And that doesn't mean that your business will not fit in your life. It doesn't mean it's not going to work out. It just means that you're going to have to kind of go with roll with the punches a little bit, and realize that life is just one of those things that you have to adapt to. And when you have a business and you're a solopreneur, that is one of those things that just kind of, you'll start to learn to navigate it, and it'll come more naturally to you. And even as you take on other new projects and different things like that, you'll be able to wear all the different hats, and you'll know when to put on your CEO hat and be like, okay, some of this other stuff is going to have to go to the side because I need to work on this launch that I have coming out, or I need to work on this marketing campaign. I need to work on this new design that I want to come out with my business. So just a matter of really realizing that and giving yourself that grace to realize that it's okay. Things are not always going to be perfect. The second thing that I would say to really look at is to kind of figure out how you can prioritize your life as it is. I created a graphic to go along with this. I actually shared it on my Instagram as well, but it's basically like a little pie chart, and I kind of just picked out the different areas in my life that I feel I either put the most of my attention to, or I would like to put most of my attention to in like an ideal world. Basically, from day to day, like I said, things can be very different, but ideally it's what I want my day to look like. And so here's my pie chart so you guys can get an example of what it looks like. And so for you, of course, your pie chart is going to look a little bit differently. Some of you guys may not have any kids. Some of you guys may be single. You may not work full time. There's a lot of different things that can go into the mix with yours. So basically make a list of all of the things that you consider to be a priority in your life. And for most of us, we have multiple priorities. I find that for me, my family is kind of my number one. I think no matter what, if I have something going on, if my daughter is needing something, my husband is needing something, if we have something planned as a family, that just comes first for me. And that's kind of the way I look at it. But again, you know, sometimes it just depends, but ideally. So think about the perfect picture. If everything could just be like perfect and grand, I have a little space for like some me time and some wellness. All of those things are very important and they matter. So take some time to figure that out for what it looks like for you. And then from there, we're going to move on to the next step. And the next step, I actually have a printable for you guys of what you want to actually do with your business to figure out how it's going to fit in. So you see, I have my pie chart here, and then now I have this little piece of business. And as you can see, there is no room on this pie chart, y'all, for this business piece. Like, there's no room. We can't turn it into like some strange oval or something like that. And so my business is very important to me. I love it so much. It is one of those things that I love to dedicate my time to. I stay up late sometimes, I get up early sometimes for it, but it still does not take up my entire life. It still has to fit into my picture. It has to be a work-life type of balance. I have to have other things going on in my life. And so as you can see, my piece does not fit in here. And I'm sure you may be feeling the same way, like, where is this business going to fit in? So if you are wanting to start your own creative business, there has to be some underlying reason in there to why you want to start it. And I think it's so important to have a why, because above all, no matter how hectic life may get, no matter how things may not work out exactly as planned, money may come, money may go, whatever the case is with your business, it's always great to have something that you're super passionate about and that will keep you wanting to come back to it. Even if you do feel drained some days, or if you do feel kind of overwhelmed, you want to have something that you enjoy doing. You don't want to dread working on your business. And this is for people that want to start a creative business. I think that it's just so important to have that heart attachment to it, because it'll give you just that extra boost you need. It's almost like your coffee in a sense, or like it gives you this surge of excitement because you know it's something you're passionate about and that you want to work on. As you guys will see the printable, I'll put it right here. The way that this works is you want to basically just kind of write down, first of all, why do I want to start this business? So you just answer that question plain and simple. Think a little bit deeper beyond, like I've said before, and I'm sure in past videos, beyond making money, beyond I'm good at it, and think about something of like, how is it going to actually benefit someone else, and how is it going to benefit you in a sense of something that's fulfilling to you. You know, like I've mentioned before, my daughter is one of the reasons why I continue to do my business. I want to be a good role model for her. I want to be able to provide a life for her that is amazing, and that we can do the things that we want to do and have the freedom. And I love working for myself. I love that aspect of it. And so really think about what it is that you want to do. And then even more so, I do it for the women, because I am just so obsessed with empowering women and encouraging them to go for what they want in their lives, starting their businesses, starting all the things that they have just dreamed about. That is something that I love to do. That's what fires me up. And so if you have that why, and then after that, you're going to write down those priorities that you kind of thought up. I kind of gave you enough room to write like 5 to 10 priorities. All of us have a lot of different things going on, different obligations and all of that. Write all of those down, and then you want to rank them. So you can rank it just based off of kind of what is the most important to what is the least important, in a sense of like, if you had to let something go, what would be the least important? What is something where it's like a non-negotiable? And so now from there, look at that ranking of your priorities, you see your why, and so now you're going to think, okay, what is my ideal day? When you wake up, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, what are you doing? You can actually do this in like time blocks. You could do this in just little increments, just to show like, okay, I get up at this time, then I'm getting things ready to go before I go to work at this time, I have lunch here. You know, what are your different moments in your day? And so then you're going to think about like, okay, what are the distractions or the time wasters or the things that are not really something that I necessarily need to be doing, but I do. So maybe you have a lunch break where you just sit there and you scroll on Instagram for the whole hour, or maybe you get home and you do the same thing. Like I know for me, I'm so guilty of scrolling on Instagram, watching YouTube videos, just like all of the stuff that is really not productive. It's not moving me in a place of progression, but instead it's just kind of holding me back, you know? And so think about what are those moments where you literally look up and like a half hour has gone by and you're like, why am I sitting here on this phone? Or why did I just waste this much time doing this? Or if there's someone that maybe like you talk to all the time and maybe y'all talked a little bit too much and it's just like, okay, I really have other stuff I need to do. Maybe you need to cut that conversation down to 10 minutes. Maybe you need to schedule them in on a specific day and time and just say, hey, this is our dedicated time to talk. Another thing you want to do is kind of look at breaks within your day, breaks within your week. Think about the times when you have downtime where you typically just don't really do anything with it. You might just sit there and binge Netflix the whole time or whatever. Think about those moments. And so the reason you're thinking about those is because that is where you can start to fill in this business. If you have time to scroll on Instagram, if you have time to catch up on the latest episode of Insecure, watch this movie here, you have time to start this business. And it's one of those things that if it's something that is very important to you, you will make the time for it. It may not always be the most ideal time. I know for me, there are a lot of times when I will either stay up extremely late after like everybody's gone to bed, or I'll just kind of like, you know, I'll spend some time with my husband. I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna go work on my stuff now. And, you know, luckily he's really understanding of that. I hope you guys have family that's understanding of that too, because especially when you have kids, it's really hard to try to do things when your kids are awake. If you can relate to me, please put a hand or something in a comment down below. Emery don't let me do nothing, y'all. Like when she is up, it is so difficult to try to like focus or concentrate on something. She wants my attention, which is rightfully so. She should have her mom's attention. And so because of that, I've had to make the sacrifice of either staying up late or getting up early. But I do it because I care about my business. It's something that I truly want to be successful in, and I want to make it work. So it's one of those things where you have to figure out, and we all have the time. It's just a matter of trying to figure out where that piece is for you. And so this worksheet will basically help you kind of break down like, okay, here is my priorities that I have going on already. Here is why I'm going to start this business. Here are some of the kind of breaks within my day that I'm kind of wasting some time that I could fill with something, even if it's just researching about something, making a phone call, ordering a design or a sample. Like there's a little bit of times, and you can always plan out your things. One thing that I love to do is to have a key 3 for the week. And so at the beginning of my week, I think of like, okay, what are the 3 things that I want to get done for this week for my business? And, you know, because I do work for a company, I'm here with my daughter all day. Like there's so many other components. I know that I need to really prioritize what is really important for my business this week, because it can be very easy to look up and it'll be Friday and I'll be like, okay, I know I did some stuff. I know I did, but what was it? Like that has happened to me so many times. And so that's a great way to get started with yours, especially if you're in the beginning stages. Start thinking about like, what are the top 3 things I can do? Even if you're like looking into the platform you want to be on, maybe you want to research where you want to get a notebook printed or something like that. And then maybe your 3rd thing is you want to look into packaging. And so there's all these different things that you can do. And that's the way to just kind of start fitting your business in slowly. And so instead of scrolling on Instagram for 30 minutes, instead turn that into, okay, I'm gonna take this 30 minutes to research some ideas for my logo, you know, like just kind of shift it around a little bit. Like I said, we all have the time. It's just a matter of shifting your habits, I guess. My next tip is going to be to bulk create content. And one thing that's really nice to do, if you can, is to just kind of think about like what you want to do for the next month. And so let's say you film videos, maybe you have some posts for social media, you have an email list that you want to work on, different components like that, which first of all, I also want to say for just balancing or what we're talking about, don't feel like you have to prioritize all of your different social media platforms. I would really find the 1 or 2 that you're really good at, that are working for you, and really focus on those videos and then just repurpose the content on everything else. So, you know, like how I do this Tuesday video, this is kind of like my content that I want to have everything be around. And then from there, I'll send out like an email, my post for social media, all that stuff will be in the same category of what I talked about in this video. And it helps me to not have to reinvent the wheel for every new piece of content that goes on Instagram, my email list, and all those different things like that. It just makes it a lot easier. And so same thing for you. Look at the calendar. If you have like a new release coming out, if you're launching your business or whatever the case is, looking at a physical calendar, whether it's on like a computer or your phone or writing it down, it helps so much to just visually see it instead of it just being all up in your head. And then it allows for you to be like, okay, this week I want to talk about this topic. This week I want to do this. This week I want to do this. I have a sale here. All of these different things, and it allows for you to plan around what's already happening. That is a great way to plan your content around that. And when I say bulk create, is if you have the time and the capacity, you know, sit down and knock out 3 weeks worth of posts, knock out 5 videos if you can in one day. If you just have like a lot of time, nothing's going on, film a couple videos in one day, and then you'll have a couple weeks worth of content ready to go. All of that stuff is really, really helpful for when you already have a busy life. Finding those little pockets of time where you can fill in the things that you need to get done for your business. And then even though it might seem like a huge sacrifice at the moment when you're in it, you're going to be thanking yourself later so much when you're like, okay, I'm so happy I filmed those 6 videos the other day. That seems like so much. I don't know if I could do 6. That's a lot. I think the record for me is 4. But if you film that many in one day, then you can be like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. And now I don't have that much to do, or now you just have to edit on another day. But it just really helps you when you can just bulk create your content. So the next one I wanted to talk about is to create some kind of meeting with yourself, or a check-in, or something where you basically have time that you can set aside. I know for me, it's a little hard here. So basically we live out here in New Mexico. We don't have any family here. We do have some friends, but it's different. I'm so jealous of people that have like their family that live in the same city or even the same state as them. If you do have children, is mainly what I'm speaking to in this particular moment. It really helps to have someone to help you. And if you guys have family, really take advantage of that, because you know, you can put on your calendar, and now this is for everyone, put it on your calendar that you want to have a dedicated day for your business. And this will look different for all of us. Some of us, we might be able to do it once a week. For some people, you might do it once a month. Whatever the case is, put it on the calendar. This is your day that you're going to check in with yourself or your business. Block out that time. Maybe you have 4 hours for your business dedicated on this specific day of the month, and you can go somewhere that you love where you can really concentrate. Go to Starbucks, go to the park, go to the library, or if you have a home office, just go in your office and like go in on everything you need to get done, and have that list of stuff you want to like kind of plow through. You might have some content, some designing, maybe you need to make some phone calls, send some emails. Plan all of that stuff out, and then have that day for yourself to just check it. Even if you don't have a full team, you really want to treat your business as if you do, because it's important to have those check-ins and have those moments where you are really extra laser focused on what you have going on. It's really helpful because it allows for you to then get a lot of things done in one like just quick block of time, versus where you're trying to fit in 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there. That can be kind of difficult to, you know, be like just piecing things together, but this time is very strategic and you know exactly what's going on. And I think that you'll find as you do that, and then you kind of combine it with limiting those distractions, and you can fit some things in throughout your week, you'll start to notice like, okay, some progress is being made. And what you'll notice even more is that even though right now that pie chart probably feels like, oh my gosh, I don't have any time for this business, you'll start to realize that you're gonna just naturally know how to prioritize your business above other things when it matters or when it fits. And so, perfect example, I am a person where I will literally just keep working. And so like eventually, you know, sometimes my friends will be like, hey, let's hang out. And I will literally be about to turn them down, y'all, because I'm like, oh, well, I really need to get this done, or I got this list of stuff to do. And I'm like, you know what? I've been working really hard this week. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. I'm gonna go bond and catch up and have some like people time outside of looking at the screen. Or, you know, like if my husband is here at home, he's been at work all day, I'm gonna have that time at the table with all of us so that we can talk. I'm gonna put my phone and my computer away and be intentional about that. Now, if we sitting there and we watch 3 episodes of Money Heist on Netflix, for example, and I'm like, okay, I really need to go get some stuff done for my business. I mean, like, it's been cool watching this with you, but I need to go get some stuff done. And sometimes I'll even multitask and do both because I just want to still be able to hang out, but I really have things to do. And so you'll just kind of start to figure out what works naturally for you within your life. We all do it a little bit differently, but hopefully you'll have people in your life that are understanding of that and they realize that there's a time and a place. And sometimes your business is just going to be that time and place that you have to be present in. But you also will realize what those priorities are and what really matters to you. I was getting ready to wrap up with filming and I wanted to share one other thing with you guys too. This is the quote that I love from Laura Casey, and that is that we cannot do it all and do it well. And so I just wanted to say that to you guys because I think that a lot of times we feel like we have to hustle, and we have to do 10,000 things to feel like we're productive or feel like we're successful in life. And the reality is that is not true. You don't want to be spread thin. You don't want to feel like you are just overdoing yourself, because most importantly, you want to be taking care of yourself from within. And so I think that it's okay to do all of the suggestions that I had, but I also just wanted to point it out that I don't ever want to like push that hustle mentality, because it can be very difficult, and I've been there before. And you know, I've continued to be there in certain seasons and times when it's necessary, which it does happen sometimes, but it doesn't have to be your life every day. You don't have to feel like from sun up to sundown you're literally, if you're not doing something here, you should be doing your business. Like, you should be also enjoying your life and living. You should be able to scroll on Instagram if you want to. You should watch the shows you want and have the downtime and all of that. But you know, it's just a matter of just trying to start to figure out how your business can fit in. And so even if you have a free hour, maybe your business is a half hour and then you have that other hour to do what you wanted, or you have, geez, can I not do math, y'all? You have like the half hour to do something for your business, and then the other half hour is a show, or maybe you do both at the same time. But I just wanted to put that out there. I don't want anyone to feel guilty like, oh my gosh, well, I guess I can't do anything I like anymore. Like, I definitely don't want it to come off like that. Hopefully, I'm sure it didn't, but I just wanted to point that out. I think it's so important to just prioritize yourself as well, and your needs and what you love first. So that's why I had you write that list of things that you want to make important. And so when it comes to your business, if you're feeling like, okay, for example, this morning I had a lot of stuff I needed to do, and so I decided to do yoga instead of doing them. Time and time again, I kept putting off doing yoga because I wanted to use that extra 20 minutes to do something for my business before my daughter got up. And the reality is, I love yoga. It makes me feel good. It's something that's good for me. And I finally was just like, okay, no, I'm gonna go do my yoga. Like, why am I making this decision every day? Like, and then I felt guilty, like, oh, I should have worked out earlier. And I shouldn't have to feel that way, you know? So it's just a matter of just kind of putting your foot down and realizing when is the time and the place for it. But I think that we all have the capacity to start businesses. It looks different for all of us. And I know that a lot of different things within your life, different situations can make it hard to do. But I really just, suggest really writing that list of those priorities down and figuring out what those distractions are, and just making a point to start incorporating your business in a little at a time. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I never want anything to come off like super pushy or super hustle, because I'm not about that life at all. Like, I know there is a time and a place to do it, and I probably do it more often than I should. I also know that rest and wellness and just things that don't matter, like just laying back, scrolling, or laying back, hanging out with people, all of those things are so important. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. But that is it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I really do hope that it was helpful and you got some good suggestions on how to start figuring out how to incorporate a new business into your already hectic life. I definitely can understand and relate to all of you. I'm sure as you're watching this, you might even be doing 10,000 things, or you might be relaxing. Whatever the case is, thank you so much for all the support of this channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.